Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alana, and if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, I have a little bit of an announcement. You can probably tell by the title, but I am announcing my pregnancy. Yes, I am pregnant. I am 20 weeks today and 2 days. I found out when I was 5 weeks, so it's been a few months. It's been a very tough secret to keep. I finally announced. It took me some time just because of my pregnancy in the very beginning. It was a little bit rough. And I was so beyond excited, like over the moon, thrilled to be pregnant. I'm so happy to be here where I am today. I'm so blessed to have a baby grown inside of me. I'm literally grown a human. Like, it's insane. I literally just feel so honored, and I cannot wait to be a mommy. I've been wanting to be a mom as long as I can remember, and this is one of the things in life that I truly do believe that I'm meant to be. Literally becoming a mom. Like, I'm pregnant with my first baby and I cannot be more excited. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about like my first trimester and like how I'm feeling now, and just kind of like the road that I've been on from the very beginning. It definitely wasn't an easy start, and I just kind of want to share my experience, not necessarily like my symptoms and stuff like that, like week by week, just because I was unable to document all that type of stuff. I was able to document a few times when I was admitted into the hospital, which I'm going to get further into. But basically I'm just going to give a timeline of like how things started and where I'm at today. My symptoms, I was just really sick, so it was hard for me to document that type of stuff, as I mentioned. But I also want to show you guys that this is little baby right here. This is when the baby was 8 weeks 2 days. I go for my 20-week ultrasound tomorrow, which we are so excited for and cannot wait, because we also find out the gender of our baby. I don't know why here in Canada we have to wait 20 weeks to find out. I read somewhere online that it had to do with a lot of people, when they find out the gender and they're not happy with it, they tend to abort it. So I was reading online something like that, and I just think that's so crazy. But here we are. We've reached 20 weeks 2 days, and I'm enjoying pregnancy. It's been an experience that I'll never forget, literally. Like, it's just something I'll never forget. But I'm literally grown a baby inside of me, like another freaking human being, and it's gonna be 50% me and 50% my partner, and it's just, I can't even fathom how the baby's gonna look. Like, I'm so excited to see his or her little face and just see how much like what we've created. Like, literally, it's like magic. So I have my little book here. It doesn't have much in it. It's basically just the very basics, the very minimum, just because I wasn't able to document a lot of stuff due to being sick. But I'm just gonna kind of give you guys a little time frame of what happened from the beginning, how I found out I'm pregnant, and just kind of things that have kept me out of the hospital now that I'm 20 weeks. So in the very beginning, we were away on travels. In July, we were in Mexico, Cancun, Mexico, and then we came home. And then for our anniversary in August 9th, we wanted to be in California and we wanted to be at Disneyland. So we decided to go to Mexico, and then when we flew home, we got back and we waited like maybe 5 days, and before we knew it, we were already on the road again and we were heading to California. So we went on vacation, and that's actually during the time that we conceived, which is bizarre. I'm gonna do another like video more in depth of how aligned this pregnancy is and how it's just meant to be, and it literally is all timing. Literally, it's a timeline, and it all just makes sense. It may not make sense to you guys, but it makes sense to us, and it's just so bizarre how the universe works and how things all play a part. But that's for another video. If you guys are interested in hearing that story, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to share it with you guys. I love it. I love mentioning it. I love talking about it just because it's just so bizarre, and it's just truly a blessing in disguise. So come September, I had 2 concerts that I was pre-planned. So it's my mom's birthday, September 7th, so I wanted to surprise her with concert tickets to the Chicks, which are the Dixie Chicks. So that was Tuesday the 5th. And then we also had a concert, me and my boyfriend, on September 8th for the 50 Cent concert here in Vancouver. And so that week had been when I had noticed that I was not feeling very well at all. Like when I got back from vacation, like I knew it wasn't anything to do with vacation. Like I've traveled to California before, I felt fine. Like I wasn't feeling sick there or anything like at all. It's when I got home I started noticing that I was just really tired and I just didn't really feel like myself. I was taking naps, and I'm not a napper. I'm not someone who usually takes naps just because I feel worse when I wake up from them. So I was taking naps. I was just not really feeling very hungry. Like I didn't really pay attention to it all that much, but I started realizing these things, and I'm just like, something's not adding up here. So Tuesday came, the concert, the Dixie Chicks. My mom came over, we got ready, and I felt so bloated, and like I just felt like just kind of unwell, but I wasn't feeling unwell where I couldn't go to the concert. So I ended up going to the concert. I didn't drink or anything like that. I just didn't feel well. So we ended up going to the concert, and then literally the next concert was, I had a concert on Tuesday the 5th and then Friday the 8th of the same week in September. So on Tuesday I went to the concert, and then a few days passed and now it's Friday, and I just remember feeling even worse when Friday came. We went to Boston Pizza because my boyfriend wanted to have a few drinks there, like pre-drink a little bit before the concert. I wasn't drinking because I just did not feel good at all, and just something in my mind just told me like, Alana, do not drink. And so I was just listening to my intuition, and so I didn't have anything to drink, not one sip, nothing. And I just ordered some food and we were eating, and I just remember I could barely even like handle what we ordered. It was like wings and just like some chips, like I don't know, it was just like stuff that I would typically eat and just feel okay to eat. But for some reason when the food got there, I just couldn't eat it. Like my stomach just didn't want it. It just felt like no, I'm okay. Still felt so bloated that I actually went to Boston Pizza wearing something completely different, and then I changed in the car later that day for what I was gonna wear to the concert, just because I just could not stand to be in it all day long. So I was like, okay, this is like really weird. Like I don't know what my body's telling me, but I literally just couldn't handle anything tight on my stomach, and I just felt very off. So that was Friday the 8th, and then Saturday I just remember feeling like crap again. Sunday came and I still felt like crap, and at this point I was just like starting to feel really sick. I think I don't know if I threw up. I don't think I threw up, but I was just feeling like so ill. I'm like, I gotta go get myself checked out. I couldn't get a hold of my family doctor that day because she's usually someone who you have to book like a week in advance. So I ended up going into the urgent care here in Abbotsford, and I went in by myself because I'm like, you know what, it's okay, I'll go by myself. My boyfriend was at home, and I literally thought that I was just gonna be told like, oh, you have a flu or something. Like I don't know, something told me, like intuition told me, like go to the hospital, get yourself checked out. So I ended up going to, not the hospital, the urgent care. I ended up going to the urgent care, and when the nurse came in, well, she had asked me like to do a pregnancy test. They usually always do when you're a female, like when you go to the doctors with basically like anything that can be like, oh, you might be pregnant, or there's a chance you could be pregnant, or even if there's no chance and you're like, no, I'm not pregnant, they will make you do a pregnancy test or pee in the cup so that they can do a test. So 99% of the time, like that's always what they tell me to do, so I didn't think anything of it. And she asked me like, is there a chance that you could be pregnant? I'm like, definitely is a chance. I am sexually active, so yes, that's a possibility, but I don't believe that I am. I think that I just have like some type of flu or something, I'm not sure. I just felt really off. Like it wasn't even really like a flu, like my body was just telling me something completely different, and so that's why I decided to go into urgent care. So I go into urgent care, and she walks in and she says, she brings the pregnancy test, and she's like, you are pregnant. And at the time I was shocked. I really wish that my boyfriend had been there with me, but unfortunately it just didn't work out that way. So I didn't even call him when I left the urgent care because I was just so in shock. I was like, how am I gonna tell him? Like, we weren't really planning for a child right now. It just kind of happened that way. Yes, we are so grateful that I'm pregnant and whatnot, but it definitely wasn't planned. Like, we weren't trying or anything. If it happened, it kind of happened type of thing. And I will mention we've been together 9 years for those of you that don't know. So we just celebrated our 9th anniversary, 9-year anniversary, August 9th. So when I came home and I told him, and obviously we decided to keep the baby. So without doubt, yes, I'm here, pregnant. We are carrying my first child. So I found out I'm pregnant by the nurse on September 10th, and that was based off of my last period. I was 5 weeks. Sorry, if I'm a little bit out of breath, it's just because pregnancy literally just takes away your breath. But yeah, so September 10th, I'm 5 weeks pregnant based off of my last period. So my symptoms started happening quite early. Like, it got even more severe as the weeks got on. So when I found out, they basically just like told me like, hey, you're pregnant, like this is why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. I was like, okay, great. Like, that's a big explanation of why I feel so nauseous, so tired, just don't feel like eating, stuff like that. So they sent me home and told me like to follow up with my family doctor, which of course I was gonna do. So basically, like, that whole week went by. So from Sunday to, or that whole week was like going by, and I eventually called my doctor sometime between the Sunday and the Thursday, and she had recommended to me to go into a clinic at the hospital, which is called the Nausea and Vomiting Clinic. It's for women who are pregnant, who are nauseous and just need like an IV to kind of help get the fluids in and the vitamins. And then sometimes they'll give you like revel and medication through the IV, because when you're sick, it's hard to keep all that stuff down. But things kind of took a turn for the worse for me, and it progressed really quickly. And by the time I knew it, like, I ended up getting in, the soonest I could get into the nausea and vomiting clinic was, the first time was September 15th. And I ended up going there. I went there one day that week just because they didn't have any other appointments available for me, which really sucked. So as I'm dealing with all this nauseous and not able to hold any food or any water or anything, like, my body was literally like saying no, like, you're not having any of this. And the only way that my body would accept any of that is through the IV. So the first time I went for nausea and vomiting was the Friday the 15th, and then during that next week, from the Monday like the 18th all the way to like the 24th in September, that week took a turn for the like absolute worst. And like, things, like I said, it was like getting worse by the day. Like, my nausea and vomiting was just getting so severe. I ended up calling my doctor again the following week and said like it was urgent, like I needed to talk to her right away. It was Tuesday. I booked the appointment with her the 19th. I expressed to her like how sick I was and that I was unable to, I was literally bedridden from that Sunday, the 10th onwards, like literally bedridden. I couldn't do anything. And so she had told me like, just keep booking those appointments with nausea and vomiting. And so I was trying my best to book those appointments, but they're just so busy during this time that they weren't even able to get me in. So that was a really tough time. I was literally at home puking day and night, just like literally 24/7. Like, when I tell you puking, I mean like 12 to 15 times an hour, not keeping down anything. So everything that I already like had in my stomach, I was literally almost throwing up. Like, what else could I throw up? There was like literally no new water, no new food, no nothing in my body. So I was literally just, everything that was in there from previously just coming up, like literally just non-stop puking, dry heaving. Every time I took a sip of water, I would just puke right away within seconds. Like, it was so tough. And I know they say like try and eat crackers, drink a little bit of water at a time. Trust me, girls, I tried it all, I swear to you, but nothing worked. And so when I called my doctor on that Tuesday, she had recommended to try and get in with nausea and vomiting. I tried, and honestly, it just got so bad that I was admitted into the hospital on that Friday, the 22nd of September. I was admitted for 3 days and 2 nights, and so I was there from Friday to Sunday. And so what had happened is they admitted me to the hospital, they put an IV in, and that's how they were giving me fluids, vitamins, and medication to help with the nausea, to contain it, just because it was so bad and it was coming up and it just wouldn't stop, like literally would not stop. And so by being there for the 3 days and 2 nights, I started to feel a little bit better. Like by little, I mean very little. Like I don't think that they should have actually sent me home. Like I don't think I was well enough to be on my own, but it's no fun being in the hospital at all, especially for 3 days, 2 nights. Like it wasn't fun. I didn't want to be there, but I just knew that like this is where I needed to be. So I stayed, and I had waited for them to give me the approval to go home. So on the Sunday, they decided, on that Sunday I would have been 7 weeks as well. They released me from the hospital, and then they just told me from here on out, just keep booking like appointments as often as you need for the nausea and vomiting. So I was literally called them the next day, and I'm like, I need to get in. Or actually, I think they booked me an appointment on that Sunday for the Monday, just to make sure that I got in. So they ended up sending me home on Sunday, and Monday I was right back into the hospital at nausea and vomiting. And so the nausea and vomiting, the time that I was spent there was about 6 hours a day. And so I was there on the Monday, the Tuesday, and then the Wednesday they weren't able to fit me in. They fit me in again on the Thursday, so I went again. I was there 6 hours a time, and then nothing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They didn't have anything. At this point, it's now October 1st. I'm 8 weeks pregnant at this point, and I've already been going in and out of the hospital and nausea and vomiting. So during that week of Monday, October 2nd, all the way to like the Friday, I was feeling still so bad. Like it was just so bad that I ended up going to nausea and vomiting. And she was like, you know what, Alana, I actually called her crying, one of the nurses at nausea and vomiting, because that's who I was kind of reporting to. It wasn't my doctor anymore. Now it was the nurses at nausea and vomiting. And so there was one nurse who had been with me since the beginning, and so she was like, you know what, Alana, like we need to get ahead of this. You need to come back in. I suggest that you come into the hospital right now, and we want to admit you again. And so I ended up being there again for 3 days, 2 nights. And during that time, my boyfriend was with me throughout this whole process. Like he held my hand, he comforted me, he was my backbone. And if it wasn't for him, I truly don't know what I would have done. He was my support, and he's the only one I really needed. Obviously I had a lot of support from like the nurses and stuff, but at this time, like no one else knew that I was pregnant other than the nurses and the doctors and my partner. Like this was just between us, and so this was a really tough time. But yeah, so I ended up being admitted to the hospital twice within like that 2 weeks, and in a total I spent 6 days and like 4 nights in the hospital within that 2 weeks. So like I was in the hospital, out of the hospital, and then back in. And when I wasn't in the hospital because I was admitted, I was there doing going to the nausea and vomiting clinic. So my life literally consisted of going into the clinic or going into the hospital to get this IV fluid and medication through IV, because that's the only thing that worked, because I could not hold down any medication. Nothing that they prescribed to me, I tried at home and it just would not stay down. I literally tried depositories. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like a gravel suppository, and you shove it up your bum. Yes, I got that desperate that I actually even tried that. I literally was like, no, I don't want to try that. Like, what the heck? Like, that's just so uncomfortable. But you know what? I did, because I was so desperate to just feel some type of relief from the nausea and vomiting. Like, I just needed it gone. So once I was admitted to the hospital for a second time, obviously during this time as well, I had to quit work. Like, I could not work any longer. Like, my life was literally bending over like the toilet bowl, or like, you know, like a bowl like puking, thrown up, bedridden. That's all I could do. I didn't even want to go on my phone, like nothing. I literally slept most days if I could, like just to sleep it away. Like I don't even know where half of these days went. Like it was not a very nice beginning to my pregnancy, but here we are. But so yes, I was admitted again. I stayed in the hospital 3 days, 2 nights. I was released that Sunday afternoon, and I'm now week 9. And moving forward from that second time I was admitted to the hospital, we had made an agreement with the nurses in nausea and vomiting that when I am released from the hospital, I am to go to nausea and vomiting every single day for at least 2 weeks, just to get myself going. And if I needed to prolong how often I was coming, then we would do that. We would just base it off of how I was feeling. But we knew that the only thing working and keeping me like stable was for me to go to the hospital, to the nausea and vomiting clinic every single day for 6 hours. So I would literally, my boyfriend, he would come with me, and it got to the point where I'm there literally so much that I was like, you know what, we cannot live our lives like this. Like you have to be able to go do things that you need to do your type of work, you know, stuff like that. So as much as like he was there with me for so many, like I would say the first, I think I was in the hospital like in and out for like 2.5 months. So the first like month and like almost 2 months, he was with me the whole time. And I was just like, no, like this is not right. Like we both don't need to be sitting in this hospital. And like, you know, it became such a like a routine. Like every morning I'd wake up 7 o'clock or 7:30, be there for 8 o'clock, and then get my IV. And so I actually have like marks, I'm not sure if you can see, but like they've poked me like everywhere, all over my body, taking my blood work when I was in the hospital. Like it was not fun. So basically from October 9th all the way, I have it written in my book here, all the way until let me see here, all the way until December 8th. So October 9th all the way until December 8th. So I was going into the nausea and vomit every single day. It started with being at like 6 hours for probably the first like 3 weeks, and then finally the last week the nurse is like, you know what, Alana, because they were giving me medication. So I was getting my fluid bag, I was getting my vitamins, and then I was getting medication like Gravel, famotidine, Maxarin, which I ended up kind of being allergic to because I was feeling very weird. So they actually took me off of the Maxarin, and then it was the Zofran. And the Zofran is the medication that's actually given during chemotherapy for patients who are sick. And so that was like the last resort of medications that they could possibly give to me while I'm pregnant to help with to combat the severe nausea. And so that was like, they literally started me off with just like Gravel, and like we had to work it up in tears, and it ended up being Zofran that was the game changer for me. And unfortunately that is the only thing that actually has helped me continue being stable in this pregnancy, and for me to now be able to enjoy my pregnancy without constantly throwing up and getting sick. So all the way from October 9th all the way to December 8th is when we were working through, and like I would go in and I would get, we started like, we'd try and take me off a bag, and then I noticed like I still wasn't feeling good, so we'd start adding the bag back. And so like we were trying to see if I could wean myself off of some of the medication so that I didn't have to be there for as long. But unfortunately, like every time that happened, I just felt like complete crap. And literally it got to the point where these nurses just felt so bad that sorry, my camera cut out. So the nurses just started to feel so bad that I'm coming in here every single day and spending so many hours of my day just to get the medication that I need. And so the one medication, Zofran, which is really like what is my savior in this pregnancy right now, it's about $10 to $11 for one pill, and I had to take one in the morning and one at night. So with me not working and not being have any medical coverage. I was like, that's a lot of money, especially when I have all these expenses with a baby on the way. So like, you know, I cannot afford that. And if I have to come to the hospital every single day to get this medication and be covered that way, then that's just what I'm gonna have to do. And even the nurses agreed, like, it was just outrageous. So we actually sent out a form called special authority for me to get covered for that medication, and for like them to cover it so I don't have to pay for it, because having 100 of those pills was like over $1,000, and I'm just like, I cannot for just 100 of them, and I didn't know how long I'm gonna be on this medication. So we ended up sending out a special authority form, and it took so long for them to get back to me and give me like the approval, if I'm approved, if I'm declined, like whatever it was. So we were waiting for so long. And so in the meantime, like, it started to get to the point where like we knew that the Zofran was the only thing that was helping me stay like grounded. So it got to the point where I was going in for just like one bag of fluid, and then like the gravel, the famotidine, and then the Zofran they'd give me there in the morning, and then they'd send me home with one of the tablets to take at home so that I'm okay throughout like the rest of the night, because I needed to take it at least twice a day. So we started doing that, and that was a big improvement, and I started to feel like, I started to finally feel more like myself, even though I still had to go in daily to go get the IV just to make sure that I was able to still get this medication and whatnot. That's the only thing that ended up working. And then finally December 8th is when I got accepted for the Zofran, and I was just so over the moon. I was like, yes, but now I don't have to go to the hospital every day just so that I can get this medication. And so it was December 9th all the way until now, which is December 26th. I've been taking my medication. I take gravel. I have my medication. So I take diclectin for nausea, gravel, famotidine, and my Zofran. So I take it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So in the morning, I'm taking diclectin, gravel, famotidine, and Zofran, and then I take another diclectin at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I take another gravel 6 hours from the first time in the morning, and then I'll take my other Zofran 8 hours from the morning, so twice daily, so 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and then I'll take another gravel and my diclectin. So I take another gravel before bed 6 hours from the lunchtime one, and that's kind of the schedule that I've been on, and it's just really been working for me. In the beginning, I wasn't able to hold any food or fluids, no solids, nothing down, that it got so severe that I ended up actually losing about 20 pounds in the beginning of my pregnancy. And I remember feeling like I'm a first-time mom, and I didn't know what to expect. I did not know that pregnancy could be this rough in the very beginning. Like, I never even knew. Oh yeah, I also want to mention that I was diagnosed with hyperemesis, which is just a very severe like morning sickness. You can do your research on that if you'd like. If you are someone who's pregnant right now, maybe you have that same condition, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's very unfortunate for the moms that have to go through that, and my heart feels for you so much. Like, I truly do understand how much mentally and physically, like, the first trimester was a lot on me, and I actually had to film this video like 3 times just because I always break down crying. But I'm gonna try so hard not to cry in this video just because I really don't want to. But I literally felt like I was jeopardizing my baby, especially when I was losing weight, and I felt like I couldn't provide like the nutrition that it needed. Like, I wasn't able to like eat or drink anything without being medicated. Even still to this day, like, I can't believe that I'm still having to take this medication and I'm 20 weeks pregnant. But when I do feel like I'm able to get off of it, and I try and lean myself off of it, which I have tried, and I could tell right away, like, no, my body is needing that. And so for right now, I'm just gonna listen to my body. I'm just gonna do the best that I can and take care of my baby the best that I can, while still trying to like take care of me too, because obviously I have to take care of myself before I can take care of anyone. And So it was really hard when I was losing that weight, and I just remember telling the nurses like how much of a failure I felt that I was unable to provide what my baby needed. And I just felt like losing weight during pregnancy, like that's unheard of. Who loses weight like during pregnancy, especially the first trimester? Like this is when you should be gaining weight. But I do want to say that like mentally and physically, like I was so low and it was so tough. And I have videos that I will actually add footage just so that you guys can kind of see like how severe it was. Even though that was I recorded the second time I was admitted to the hospital, and so the other times, like there's no way I could document like how I was feeling throughout those 2 months. Like it was just way too tough. I couldn't even barely even be on my phone. Like I was literally just bedridden. All I would do is just lay there and just wait for that day to be over and continue on to the next day, and just pray that with every day that passes that things will just get better and better. And it took a really long time, and I really didn't think that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Like I just kept trying to stay positive, and I told myself like, you know what, like there's a time when I was just so like low, and like I was in the hospital. This was the second time, and my boyfriend, he was at home and he packed some things, and he came to the hospital, and I still remember this, and he knew how down I was and just knew I needed a reminder. Even though the baby was in me, it's just so easy to just kind of like, it just felt so surreal. It didn't feel real. Like even now, like it's sometimes it just feels like so unreal that I'm literally grown a human inside of me. Like I'm literally gonna have my baby in my arms before I know it. But the first trimester and a little bit into the second was a really tough and low point for me mentally and physically. Like it just took everything to be where I am today, and it wasn't easy at all. But I do think that it's just made me stronger, and it's something I'll never forget as long as I live. And I'm grateful to be where I am today, and to have had the support from my partner that I had. He was amazing through it all. He's so amazing. He's going to be such a good dad, and I can't, like, it just, seeing him take care of me and the baby that's grown in my belly right now is just, it just brings me to tears. It makes me feel so beyond happy that this is the man I'm literally gonna have my child with. Like, he's just the sweetest and the most thoughtful and caring person. So while I was in the hospital, I have this ultrasound photo in a frame, and so he pulled it out of the bag when I was sitting there in the hospital, and I was just having a really hard time, and he just told me, he just pulled it out and said, here's your reminder of why you're doing this. And that was just such a big motivation to me, and every time I just would look over at that photo, I just felt like, you know what, like I got this, I can do this no matter how tough it is right now. Like this will pass, and at the end of it, it's going to be all worth it, even though it's so tough right now. And even though I felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel, when I looked up and I see my little baby, even though it was just like a little peanut size, that was my biggest motivation, and that really strung me through. And I don't even know if I really expressed that to him, but that in that moment, it was just a really special moment, and I'll never forget that as long as I live. And I just feel so honored that I'm able to be pregnant, that I am pregnant, that I'm going to be a mom. This is something that I've always wanted to be. I've always wanted a family, and I'm just so excited that we get to be on this journey together, him and I. And there's a lot of new beginnings. We've been together for a long time, and it's so exciting to be adding and growing our family, and that we're gonna soon have a baby that's half me and half him, and it's just bizarre to think about. But yeah, that is kind of how the pregnancy journey has been for me so far. I really just went straight to the point. I didn't really get too too touchy on everything just because it has been such a process, and mentally and physically it was a lot on me, but I'm a very strong individual, and I know that I can get through anything, and just knowing what I have at the end of this is all the while worth it, like so worth it. So today I am 20 weeks 2 days, and I just wanted to share with you guys the apps that I've been using to follow along on my pregnancy. So I've been using the Flow app, which is that pink one right there, and then I also use this Mama app, which is that purple one right there. And so that's what I've been using. Whoops. So those, I'm just trying to refocus the camera here. There we go. Okay, so those are the apps that I've really loved so far during my pregnancy. Like I said, I'm 20 weeks 2 days today. Our last ultrasound was at 8 weeks 2 days, and that's this right here. So baby was quite small there, still a little peanut, and there's been so much progress in the development, and the baby really just forming, like moving around. I can feel the baby moving now, and there's just been so many changes. So we are so excited that tomorrow we actually go for our 20-week ultrasound, where we also find out the gender of our baby. I don't know why here in Canada we have to wait 20 whole weeks just to find out the gender of our child. We will be happy regardless of if it's a boy or a girl. But from the very beginning, we've had a gut feeling, myself and my partner, that we are having a girl, but I guess we will find out literally within a day. Where we were deciding if we wanted to wait till New Year's to do like a countdown and then reveal the gender then. But honestly, I don't know if I can wait any longer, so we might find out tomorrow. My appointment's at 1 p.m. so after that I'm just trying to figure out if I want to wait till New Year's countdown, or if I can not wait that long and just figure it out as soon as possible, because right now I've just been buying everything that's gender neutral, and everything that I have found in stores that I really loved and I knew I needed, I've just bought in like boy and girl. That way when the baby comes I'll have that, and then whichever one it is, then I'll keep that one, and then the one that it's not, I'll probably just donate. But yeah, we are so thrilled that and excited for tomorrow, like so excited. I'm just so excited to see baby again as well. Like I said, I haven't seen the baby since 8 weeks, so it's been literally like 12 weeks almost. I think it's been like, yeah, 12 weeks since we've last physically seen the baby on an ultrasound. We heard the baby and the heart rate at our 15 weeks midwife checkup, but other than that, like, we've just been feeling the baby kick. He hasn't really felt it, but I do. I feel it. The baby's now like moving around and all that type of stuff. It's so fun and exciting, and like I'm really just enjoying the pregnancy process now. There's good days and bad days, but I think I've been through the worst of it in the first trimester of like just how I was feeling, and I'm actually able to now start to enjoy my pregnancy. I'm starting to feel more like myself. I'm actually able to do like shower without having to have my IV on. Like I said, I was just very straight to the point in this video, so if there is any other questions that you would love for me to answer, or go more into detail about my my pregnancy in the very beginning. I didn't document like my symptoms from day to day or week to week, just because it was just really tough and I just wasn't in the right position to be doing that. But I will add in a few clips of me at the hospital just so you guys can get a rough idea of exactly how I was feeling, and just like what I was going through. But yeah, if you have any recommendations on things being a first-time mom, like things that you suggest that a first-time mom absolutely needs for baby or stuff like that, like I'd love to hear it down below in the comments, just because right now I'm taking suggestions from everyone. Like I just want to get the best for baby, and I don't want to get things that we don't absolutely need unless we really need it. So we do already have a lot of things for the baby, and I'd love to do like a nursery reveal. We already have a lot of things in the baby's room, but I'd love to do like a walkthrough and show you guys everything that I have so far. But if that's a video that you're interested in, please leave a comment down below so I know, and I will definitely film that for you guys. And if there's any other videos about pregnancy, about becoming a mom, anything at all, drop a comment down below, and I would literally love to film something for you guys. So yes, if you have lasted this long about my pregnancy journey so far, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you taking the time to listen to my story, and I hope that if you're going through anything like I was, I really do hope that you know that there is light at the end of the tunnel and that it's not just all dark. Things will get better, and I'm sure that your nurses and doctors are doing everything in their power to help you feel better. This is just what works for me right now. It may not work for you, but it worked for me, and I just know that if I can be of guidance or of help to anyone who may be going through a similar situation, I hope that this video resonates with you and guides you on feeling better, and just so that you get to really enjoy your pregnancy. I know that when you're looking online, like you see moms posting with their moms and they're just looking like they're living their best pregnancy life, and you're just like, how is that even possible? More than anyone, I know how that feels, and honestly every pregnancy is so different. And I do want to mention as well, just because I have hyperemesis in this pregnancy does not mean that I will have it in my next one. If I decide to have another baby, which yes, we do want to have more than one child. This experience did scare me a little bit, just to what to expect if I was to get pregnant again, but I have been well informed that not every pregnancy is the same, and this pregnancy could be nothing like my next one, and there's chances that it could be exactly like my next one. So there is hope, and honestly at the end of the day I do believe that no matter how much darkness we go through at the very beginning, it is all worth it at the end when we get to hold our child in our hand and you're holding a healthy, happy baby. And that's just what's motivated me the most, is just to continue doing the best that I can. And I will do the best that I can to make sure that my baby is healthy and happy, and that I'm taking care of myself as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you enjoyed the announcement. I'm pregnant and we are expecting our first child on Mother's Day. I am due May 12th of 2024, just a few weeks before my 30th birthday actually, which is so bizarre. But yeah, if you'd like to know more about how I feel like the universe aligned this pregnancy and how it's just so meant to be, leave a comment down below. I'd love to share that story with you guys. This video is just already so long that I think that we need to cut it off here. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all for watching, and I hope you nothing but the best. And if you're pregnant right now, leave a comment down below. I'd love to know how many weeks you are, how's your pregnancy going. I hope that it's been amazing for you so far. And for those mamas who don't know what it's like to feel an ounce of how I felt, I'm so happy for you, because it is such a thing that I don't wish any mother to go through at all. Like, I would wish that everyone just got to embrace their pregnancy and just feel like their absolute best, and just, you know, what they show you on the internet. But and if you're someone who has experienced a rough pregnancy like me, you are such a soldier, and it's all worth it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.